Hi everyone, it's Dr. Jenny. And for this week's video, I'm actually going to talk about why I still believe in love. Because Lord only knows, especially once my book comes out, all the crap that I have been through and that I know you've been through too, that can make you believe that love doesn't exist anymore. And so I think part of my journey has been to kind of go through that full experience, being in love, going through breakup, being single, feeling hopeless and lonely, and then getting to the point where you don't give a crap anymore and that you're just showing up like in your pajamas and not washing your hair. Hello, Corona. And just sitting in your like apartment or your room by yourself and saying to yourself, you're like, does love even exist? Like, what are dating apps done to love? I don't think I've been on a real date from a dating app that was like indicative of a potential love connection in like 10 years. And so kind of that magic of meeting someone or that eye contact with someone across the way or that spark or that's what the French call je ne sais quoi. I probably pronounced that wrong, but like that feeling on the inside of like your heart like bursting and also just like being nervous and excited all at the same time. I haven't had that in a little while. And yeah, I still believe in it. And I think it surprises me a little bit, but I'm going to talk a little bit about why I do and why I'm so hopeful for the next generation. But I think, that people really start to talk about when clients come in and they're really frustrated and we don't know why we're struggling so much in our love life. We don't realize how repressed our emotions sometimes are, and we often don't know how much healing work actually needs to happen in order to fully open up and become authentically who we are. So I know for myself, there is a crap ton of trauma that I completely repressed and pretended didn't exist. I think everyone in my family has pretended that it didn't exist. And at some point, it does come back and you have to deal with it. And going through that process of dealing with it, it's like ripping your heart out of your chest and putting it back in and ripping it out and putting it back in and ripping it out. It's not a pleasant experience. But eventually, I found my way to tango. I found my way to tango after I started doing some social dancing in 2014 is when I started. Truth be told, my salsa sucked, and so my instructor told me to go try bachata, and that's because at that time I was so freaking stiff, I couldn't move my body, and so I was a total white girl trying to dance Dominican bachata, but it was the dancing that started to open up this feeling of desire and kind of fun again. Dancing is fun. So, I would go, I started dancing like a lot of the times in the week, and I would meet people. Like you meet people out dancing. And eventually that gets old and a little stale, and I think I really just I wanted to meet some perhaps more sophisticated people or a different crowd of people. Like every type of social dancing definitely has its own group. And when you watch tango in a video, it looks damn sexy. And when you look at real tango dancers, you're like, I want that in my life, right? Because we've become so starved for sensuality and passion and creativity that we look at that and think that's not something we can have, and yet we all can. So I started tango dancing, and it was really hard because there was so much fear. And I started realizing there was so much fear in my relationships and so much fear in my work and so much fear in everything that I had to mindfully commit to like continuing to show up for my lessons over and over and over again in order to break through the fear. And I didn't know where the fear was coming from. And those of you who are on a spiritual journey might have heard, and I believe in past lives, but that's up to you to believe in that. But when we are approaching something we've done in a past life, it can be very scary to take that skill back in this life. So dancing is one of those things I have been told I have done in a past life. Apparently, I was a ballerina in a past life. So it's one of those things you get told from like your spiritual journey and your healing work. And then you're like, well, damn, if I've done this in the past, why is this so freaking hard? And then you start realizing it's because your heart is closed. Our heart, the heart, especially from a yogic perspective, our heart chakra is where relationships happen. We often think it's the seat of our emotions, but it's not. The heart chakra is all about connection. And so when we are disconnected energetically from our hearts, we don't feel love for other people. And this is probably the biggest issue we are having across the world right now, because we sit too much at work, we don't have enough fun, and the kind of fun we do is actually not something that's going to heal the hearts. That this is why we feel lonely and disconnected. So I don't remember when I had this revelation that like part of my problem was that my heart chakra wasn't open. But when I had that revelation, I went hardcore into my yoga practice and really hardcore into working with healers to try to figure out like what needed to be cleared. And for so many of us, it's so much past grief, so much grief that we didn't know or we thought we processed, but it's still there. So I remember the day, and this would have been in the beginning of end of 2019, beginning of 2020, where I had a private lesson with my tango instructor. His name is Tomas. He is Argentine. He is a sexy man, very respectful and very professional. But, you know, any tango dancer who's going to tell you that Argentine men have a special something when it comes to connection and sensuality, and that is definitely true. And it's very true for Tomas. He carries that energy. But it was in his gentleness and his patience over a long period of time where he just let me kind of do my work and kind of have my emotional meltdowns and do what it is that I needed to do to take care of myself. He knew when to give me space. He knew when to push me. That by the end of that last lesson that I had with him, I guess that would have been February 2020 before Corona, my heart chakra opened. And that was an amazing experience, because when it's open, you really do love other people. It becomes so much easier to connect with others, and you find the beauty and the joy and everyone you interact with, even if they're being difficult. But until you have done your full healing work, keeping your chakras open is not super easy. So definitely over, since then, we've gone through an entire healing process of trying to really clear out the gunk in all of the chakras, because if anything is out of whack down below, then it will close off the upper chakras. And so for many, many women, hashtag Me Too started bringing things up in 2016 that we are now dealing with. And until all of that stuff is cleared out for each and every person individually, it does block our ability to feel connected and to form those relationships. So having lived on both sides of that experience, I can say that connection, relationships, and love is truly magical. that when you open back up, it doesn't matter if you're dating, and it doesn't matter if he's the hottest person around or if she's the like most gorgeous woman around or whatever pronouns everyone is using, which by the way, I probably need someone to teach me. I definitely need a Gen Z assistant to help me with these things. But it doesn't matter because you feel like you want to give. And when you feel like you want to give, that's truly what love is about. And our entire dating culture is about us trying to seek from others and to take from others and to have our emotional needs met from someone else. But I believe in love because I've gone down this journey of finding it for myself. And when you've done that work, it is easy to sit and wait for the right person to show up. It is easy to take care of yourself. And it's easier to deal with family situations and the difficult relationships that's going to be up in your life. And it's easier to set your boundaries and to avoid the toxic relationships and to deal with codependency issues way quicker than it might have been in the past. So for those of you who feel like you don't believe in love, I'm dedicating this video to you because that's just kind of like the middle of the journey. When things get shut down and you don't feel like there's hope, you just have to keep going because on the other side of that, there will be an opening if you're willing to kind of work through the block. And there's lots of ways to work through the block. But it's also, we experience that also so that when we do find someone else to date or be in a relationship with or get married to, we've had the experience of what it feels like when we don't believe in love. And it's the thing that helps us not to take relationships for granted. Love is something I've seen over and over again to heal many relationships. I've seen it heal parent-child relationships. I've seen, the love of a child really propel a parent to go do their personal development journey. I've seen, really brokenhearted people after divorce, take the hits with such determination and to go and find themselves and to travel the world and do the things that they thought they would never be able to do, and to come back and feel like that it's okay if they don't have another person because they found the love for the self. And I know it sounds really woo-woo and ridiculous, but there is something magical when you get to that place and you feel really open to whatever opportunities are going to come your way or whatever people come your way, because you trust your ability to be discerning and you trust your ability to say yes or no to the opportunities that show up. So I believe that the next generation believes in love way more strongly than the millennial generation, and definitely more strongly than the older generations. And for any generation that truly believes in love, if they have the right amount of support, there are going to be magical things that they help bring into the world. And so I am so excited for Gen Z to kind of bring their wisdom about love to us, and for us to remember what it's like. I mean, I think I had a conversation with a girlfriend recently. We were just like, have you been on a date that wasn't Netflix and chill in a long time? What is real romance and what is dating? I don't what the heck happened? We kind of messed that up, and so it's going to have to be Gen Z who's going to come back to show us the value of truly respecting what it means to date and truly respecting what a relationship is. And I am so excited for the future, and I hope that you take this video as inspiration for you to continue wherever you are in your journey to continue to walk forward and to simply just have like just a little bit more hope, just a little bit more hope that your dreams will come true. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any comments, questions, please like, share, email me if there are topics you would like me to talk about. But I hope that you have a really wonderful day and that you too start to believe in love again. Have a good day. Bye.